Hello Reddit. Let me tell you a story about something super important for our bodies, but often misunderstood, lipids, or fats. Part 1, the amazing functions of lipids. You might think fats are just about energy, but no, they're way more than that. Lipids are the unsung heroes performing a bunch of vital jobs in our bodies. First off, yes, they're incredible energy sources and storage. When your body needs a quick boost or something to tap into later, fats are right there. But they don't stop there. They are key structural components of our cell membranes. Imagine your cells as tiny, bustling cities. Lipids form the walls and boundaries, controlling what goes in and out. Without them, our cells wouldn't hold together. Beyond structure, some lipids act as hormones, sending crucial messages throughout your body to regulate countless processes. Think of them as the body's internal messengers. They're also essential for vitamins and vitamin absorption, helping your body absorb vital fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. And finally, they provide protection for your organs, acting like a cushion, and offer insulation to keep you warm. So next time someone talks about fats, remember they're not just about storing energy, they're vital for so many bodily functions. Part 2, diving into fatty acids. Now, let's get a bit more specific. A big part of lipids are fatty acids. These are long chains with a special acid group at one end. They usually have an even number of carbon atoms. You've probably heard of saturated and unsaturated fats, right? Saturated fatty acids are like straight lines. Every carbon atom in their chain is packed full of hydrogen atoms, with only single bonds between carbons. Think of them as being saturated with hydrogen. Because they're so straight, they can pack together really tightly. This tight packing means there are stronger attractive forces between the molecules, specifically called van der Waals forces, which are a type of intermolecular force. These stronger forces require more energy to break, which is why saturated fats tend to be solid at room temperature, like butter or the fat on meat. Unsaturated fatty acids are different. They have one or more double bonds between carbon atoms. If there's one double bond, they're called monounsaturated, like in olive oil. If there are many, they're polyunsaturated, like in many vegetable oils. These double bonds introduce kinks or bends in the fatty acid chain. Imagine trying to neatly stack a bunch of bent pipes. It's much harder than stacking straight ones. These kinks prevent the molecules from packing tightly, leading to weaker van der Waals forces between them. Less energy is needed to break these weaker forces, which is why unsaturated fats are typically liquid at room temperature, like most oils. This kink business brings us to cis and trans fatty acids. It's all about how the hydrogen atoms are arranged around those double bonds. In a cis configuration, the hydrogen atoms on either side of the double bond are on the same side, creating that natural bend or kink in the fatty acid chain. Most naturally occurring unsaturated fats are in the cis form. In a trans configuration, the hydrogen atoms are on opposite sides of the double bond. This makes the fatty acid chain straighter, almost like a saturated fat. While small amounts of trans fats occur naturally, like in dairy and meat, the real concern is industrially produced trans fats. These are made through a process called partial hydrogenation, more on that in a bit. The straight shape of these artificial trans fats allows them to pack more densely in your body. Why is this bad? Well, they significantly raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, and lower your good cholesterol, HDL, which seriously increases your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases. They also promote inflammation in the body. Then there are omega fatty acids. You hear about omega-3 and omega-6 all the time. These are super important because our bodies can't make them, so we have to get them from our diet. That makes them essential fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in things like flaxseed, walnuts, and fatty fish, are known for their anti-inflammatory effects. They're like the peacekeepers in your body, helping regulate inflammation, supporting heart health by managing cholesterol and blood pressure, and are crucial for brain function. Omega-6 fatty acids, common in many vegetable oils, nuts, and seeds, mainly provide energy and are vital for cell function and metabolism. While essential, the typical Western diet often has way too much omega-6 compared to omega-3. This imbalance can actually promote inflammation, increasing the risk of various chronic diseases if not balanced out by enough omega-3s. The ideal ratio is closer to 4 parts omega-6 to 1 part omega-3, but many modern diets are more like 15 to 1 or higher. Part 3, glycerides, the building blocks. Moving on to glycerides. These are basically fatty acids attached to a glycerol backbone. Neutral glycerides are what we commonly call fats and oils. The most famous one is a triglyceride, TAG, which has 3 fatty acids hooked up to a glycerol. These are primarily for energy storage. Phospholipids are super special. They have 2 fatty acids, a glycerol, and a phosphate group. This unique structure makes them amphipathic, meaning one end loves water, the phosphate head, and the other end hates water, the fatty acid tails. This dual nature makes them perfect for forming those cell membranes we talked about earlier. They arrange themselves into a double layer, with the water-loving heads facing outwards and the water-hating tails tucked safely inside, forming a barrier that controls what gets into and out of the cell. They also act as emulsifying agents, which means they can help mix oil and water, like in mayonnaise, or help your body digest fats. Part 4, non-glyceride lipids, more unique players. Not all lipids are glycerides. There are also non-glyceride lipids. One important group here is steroids. Steroids have a distinct 4-ring structure. The most well-known steroid is cholesterol. Now, cholesterol often gets a bad rap, but it's absolutely vital. It's a key component of animal cell membranes, giving them fluidity and stability. It's also the starting material for making other important steroids, like steroid hormones, think testosterone, estrogen, and bile acids, which help you digest fats. The problem only comes when there's an imbalance, which can contribute to problems like atherosclerosis, where plaque builds up in your arteries, leading to heart disease. Part 5, the structure of biological membranes. Finally, let's bring it all together with the structure of biological membranes. We touched on it with phospholipids, but it's worth a closer look. Cell membranes are not just passive barriers, they are dynamic and crucial for cell life. They are primarily made of a phospholipid bilayer, as we discussed, with the hydrophilic, water-loving, heads facing the watery environments inside and outside the cell, and the hydrophobic, water-fearing, tails forming the core of the membrane. But it's not just phospholipids. Cholesterol is nestled within this bilayer, helping to regulate the membrane's fluidity, preventing it from becoming too rigid or too leaky. Proteins are also embedded in or associated with this lipid bilayer. These proteins act as channels, pumps, receptors, and enzymes, performing most of the specific functions of the membrane, like transporting substances or receiving signals. This whole arrangement is often described as the fluid mosaic model, because the components can move around within the membrane, and it's made up of various pieces, like a mosaic. So, there you have it. Lipids are far more diverse and essential than just simple fats. They're structural architects, energy managers, messengers, and vital components of life itself. Pretty cool, right?